Hello, dear students. I hope that all of you are safe and sound, enjoying your life. So, today our topic is writing a book review. Most of the people, when they read a good book, they want to write something about that, right? So, they need to know how to actually write that review, right? So, first of all, I would like to talk about book review, what actually book review is, what are its different parts, how do we actually begin it, what are the things that we include in it, right? First of all, book review, if you define book review, it's actually a short description of a book, right? Book review is a short description of a book. In simple language, it's a short description of a book, right? But to provide you more detail about it, it's actually a piece of writing that it describes what is in the book, right? Whatever is in the book, it first of all describes it, right? Then it analyzes how the book achieved its purpose, right? How the book achieved its purpose, right? So the first thing is that it describes how what is in the book. It analyzes how the book has achieved its purpose, and it also expresses any reaction. You read something, so you come up with any reaction, right? Or any argument, right? With a unique perspective. Okay, so it's actually the analysis or the judgment of the book that you have read. Okay, when we talk about a book review or its structure, so we divide it into three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. Remember, you don't need to give any headings, right? This is just to let you know that how you actually write. So the first part is your introduction, right? This is where you introduce your story, right? You introduce your story. Okay, you you give all the background information. You provide all the background information, which includes the setting, right? Setting. You talk about the setting. You talk about the characters. You also talk about the type of work that you are actually talking about, whether the work is it's a drama, or it's an adventure, or it's something full of terror, right? So you actually give a background information, right? This is very much important. Now, the second thing that you do is your body, right? The second part of your introduction, of your review, is the body, right? And it is also very important part of your review. When you're writing the body paragraph, you actually include all the main points of the plot, right? Main points of the plot. Whatever you read, you then talk about only the main points. You write the main points, right? You also need to write a plot summary of the book that you have read, right? But do not write a very detailed summary, right? Just write the main things that happened in the story, right? And then you come to conclusion, right? Conclusion is the last part of your essay, right? the last part of your review, sorry, it's the last part of your review, right? Here you recommend or you don't, right? You recommend the story or you recommend the book or not, right? Okay, you give reasons, right? You give reason to support your argument or your judgment of the book that you have made, right? The arguments, the judgment that you have made, right? You can make judgment by saying whether the book was good or no, right? Whether it achieved its purpose or not, right? So all these things will make your good review. Okay, now the next thing is what type of language to use. Remember, if you use simple language, that would be more than good, right? Because I believe using difficult vocabulary does not work, right? You have to be very much simple, plain, so that people can understand you, right? Use simple language. As far as the structure is concerned, you can use present indefinite tense, present indefinite tense, right? And using simple present indefinite tense will really have good impact, because whatever you express in simple present tense is something that is interesting or something that you want your people to get their focus on, right? So simple present tense will help you a lot in writing a review, and you won't be making many mistakes with other tenses, because most of the students, when they jumble many tenses, so they make problems for them, right? They make mistakes, because switching from one tense to another is always problematic for many English language learners, right? Okay, use as many adjectives as possible, right? Because you are making judgments, so you have to talk about it from a positive perspective or from a negative perspective, right? You also need to support your ideas, your stance that you've taken, using quotes, right? Quotes from the book that you have read. Okay, and you also need to give your personal opinion, right? Okay, before going to the tips, I would like to let you know some possible words or expressions that you can use, right? Useful language, right? So the useful language that you can use is, first of all, if you are dealing with the background information, if you are providing background information, you can begin with this expression that the book tells the story of, right? Or you can say the work is based on, right? Or the story is set in, right? So you can use such words, such expressions, right? Or when you're talking about the main plot, right? when you're talking about the main plot, you can say that the plot focuses on dash, or the story begins like this, right? You can use these expressions, right? And when it comes to your recommendation, when you are at the stage of recommendation, when you are recommending it or not, you can write like this: I would or I wouldn't recommend it because, right? You have to provide reason, right? Or you can also say it is worth reading because, and all these things, right? I hope it is clear till this point, right? Now coming towards tips, right? Some tips that can help you write a very good review, right? Okay. First of all, the first tip that I would like to give you is read the book, right? Read the book. I would suggest to read it twice, right? If you read it twice, you'll get a very good idea, right? And you can also, while reading, you can make notes, right? Make notes, highlight the important parts, right? Important lines. It will help you a lot, right? When it comes to the summary, so keep the summary short. Keep it short. Do not lengthen it. Do not write it in plenty, right? Keep it as short as possible, because you know that brevity is the soul of wit, right? So you don't need to write it in a very huge length, right? And the summary that you provide must be informative, right? It should be informative in a sense that whatever information you're providing is essential to the story, right? You should not be talking about things that are irrelevant, right? Using quotation, as I already discussed, once again, use quotation. It's also very much important, right? When you are writing the conclusion, so don't mention anything new. Conclusion is always summing up, right? So don't mention anything new. Nothing new should be mentioned in the part where you are writing your conclusion, right? You should also examine the strengths and weaknesses of the book that you have read, okay? I hope it is making sense, and right. The last tip that I would give you is to give like you can rate the book, right? You can rate it numerical numbers, right? Numerical score, or you can give stars, right? It's up to you, whatever suits you best, right? Okay. Remember that book review, when you are writing your book review, you are writing it for your audience, right? And probably your audience haven't read the book, right? So when you write the review, you are actually responsible for forming their opinions of about the book, right? So if you form their opinion, you must form their opinion in the real sense, right? You should not include anything from your side that is not in the book, or that can actually change the opinion of the people about the book, and they won't read it, right? So you will, I believe, commit a crime, that you will actually deprive people, a group of people, of reading the book, right? So review is a very good thing, but you should be honest enough, honest enough to write it, as well as you should be very much sure about whatever you are writing about the book, so that people are not actually they are not actually misled, right? Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon with another video. Thank you.